Hello buddies, my name is Game Knight. Welcome to Chaosbane. We finally have some gameplay footage, kindly provided to me by Big Ben Interactive. Thank you guys. And before you say, oh, it looks like Diablo 3, I'll pass. It is a fantasy world with demons and heroes, but that is where the similarities fade. The Warhammer universe has a very unique lore and history, which I hope they will manage to capture in the game. If not, it may well end up being too much Diablo 3. So, as I mentioned in my first video, the game is set in the old world of Warhammer, 200 years before the reign of Karl Franz. Magnus led his forces north and met the terrible horde of chaos in Kislev. Supported by dwarves, Kislevites and the High Mage Teclis with his cadre of elf wizards and their human proteges, the Empire defeated the Chaos Invaders, allowing Magnus to return in triumph. Within a year of Chaos's defeat, the Elector Count nominated and elected Magnus Emperor, uniting the Empire for the first time in centuries. Magnus established his seat of power in his home city of Nuln, making it the imperial capital. The game starts right after the end of the war in the year 2304 as you return home, a veteran of the war. Unfortunately, or well, fortunately for us, another threat is coming from within the Empire, which will put the old world in danger. What this danger will encompass is unsaid, but as the gameplay here shows, it will most likely involve Chaos forces. The demo gameplay you see here is set in Nuln. But this is of course not the only place that players will visit. Enemies will be different from one location to another, because every place that you will travel to is linked to a god of chaos. In order to have a great story and make sure that it is respectful of the license, Big Ben is working with Mike Lee, a famous Black Library author who worked on the Malice Darkblade and Nagash series, to write the story and dialogues of the game. There's going to be 4 classes available in the game, and each character has its own gameplay, gear, skills, which comes to around 45 per character, and a unique ability that you can use with the right joystick for consoles or the spacebar on keyboard. With the soldier you can raise your shield and block attacks, and with the mage you can steer the spells you cast in the direction that you want, which can also be seen in the gameplay as well. The classes are the Empire Soldier, who is acting as a tank with melee combat skills. The wording tank tells me that there will be a way to control the enemies that we encounter. From the gameplay we see him slamming enemies and doing shouts. The latter could be a taunt of some sort. The High Elf Mage, which is also in this footage, is a ranged DPS mage. It's a very classic run-of-the-mill mage that can deal great AoE damage from the looks of it. His abilities range from lightning strikes to balls of light and fire breath. The 2 last classes are the Dwarf Slayer, which is a close combat DPS, and the Wood Elf Waywatcher, a ranged class DPS specializing in traps and dealing damage over time. Each class is complementary to each other. Even though 4 players can play the same character, the game does encourage parties to play with the 4 different classes for gameplay purposes. For instance, during the boss fights, each class will have a role to play in order to defeat the boss. If you only have one class, it will be more difficult to defeat it. This also brings even more meaning to the tank role of the Empire Soldier, but also questions why no specific healer class has been announced. It will probably not be a case of the Holy Trinity, but instead the holy duality of tank and DPS, while each individual character or player takes care of their own health, as is very custom in ARPGs. The console and PC versions are being developed side by side, and the interface will be different between the 2 versions. One has a radial menu to be used with the controller, while the other one is more adapted to PC with drag and drop mechanics. Someone knows how to make PC games. If you're playing the game on PC, it will automatically adapt the interface depending on how you want to play, either with mouse and keyboard, or if you plug in the controller, it will switch to that layout. In the inventory, players can check their equipment, loot, skills, character statistics, and even a god tree that grants very powerful skills if you make offerings to the god you are serving. It does seem to be one of the skills that this Empire soldier is using when he makes fire rain from the skies. If so, that's not a bad boon to get from Sigmar. When playing multiplayer, you'll be able to open a smaller version of the inventory in order to let your friends continue playing, but apparently your character will automatically follow the party. Now, that seems to be neat and all, but sometimes I just want to stand still and sort out my stuff, and then I can catch up afterwards. Hopefully it will make more sense once we get to try it out. The game can be played with up to 4 players, local or online. And they state that even on PC, 4 players can play on the same screen. You can also mix local and online, so you'll never miss a gaming session. Just be aware that the game difficulty rises with each player. They have also stated that it's going to be very easy to jump in and out of the game, so you don't have to restart the dungeon you're in or the game itself. All the story content can be played in co-op as well. How they will manage to have each character join when there's a difference in how far you are in the story, that is something I'm really looking forward to seeing, because this part, the part of the co-op and the storyline, is very important to me, and I know it's very important to a lot of other players. We had this issue with Warhammer 40k Inquisitor Martyr, where you were basically soloing the entire campaign. You had to do it because it unlocked certain stuff in the game that you couldn't really do without. So this is one of the things that is so essential, that you let players play together. We want to play together. So thank you very much if that is truly going to be an option. So far, the game is looking great. I really can't express how much I'm looking forward to the release of this game, which, by the way, seems to be set to Q1 of 2019. That's like right around the corner. If I get my hands on the demo at some point, I'll be sure to share that with you as well. Just a quick note on the graphics. It seems to be very, very nice and gritty, like grimdark-ish. I don't know if you can say that about Warhammer Fantasy, but I mean, it's the feel of the Warhammer world that they need to capture, and it looks like they are really capturing that. Alright, so let's watch the rest of this, and I'll comment on some of the things that we see going along. There you see the controlling of the magic and all these nurglings. Pretty used to seeing the nurglings. The sound also, I haven't mentioned that, seems pretty awesome at this point. It's not bad. There's the god power, or at least what I think is the god power. What I'm really looking forward to is seeing how the itemization is going to be. If it's hopefully going to be interesting enough for people to stick with it. Imperial Guard trousers. It's pretty nasty having a Mutalith Vortex Beast in your sewer. That's not good. That is not good at all. The gameplay also seems to be fairly quick. Now, I think this is fairly high level, since the 28k damage and that charge is pretty dang awesome. Just butchering everyone. Yeah, and then we can also hear the health, once the health is dropped down to a certain point. And status ailments is also going to be a thing. Hopefully also something that we can do, like set them afire. I don't really see if they burn. There is sort of like a burn effect on them. But there might just be to show they're taking damage. I don't know if it's persistent. Because it doesn't seem that the guy up there at the top who dropped the Gantz, he didn't seem to tick after burning. The controls do seem with the mage there a bit weird when he tries to focus his spell. So that might need some getting used to. Lots of loot. We like that. We like that a lot. Breaking all the barrels. That's what you need. Yeah, and it seems like sometimes the ball of light there floats around on its own and then bounces off the edges. But then he can take control of it, or he can control it at the beginning and then he can let it go, so it just flies on its own. Alright, next area. I think this is the boss, yes. Huge beast. It looks so finished already. This is pre-alpha. It really looks beautiful. Oh, what is that blade thing? That looks funny. It's a bit, just a tad weird with the mage needing to be in melee that much. Oh, he could send it off? Oh, cool. He's in trouble. But the mage seems to be fairly squishy, which is always good. Because the DPS will be high, and there he died. Comes back. Okay. So there's no need to teleport back or, in general, resurrect each other. That fire on the bridge there, oh my lord. That's gonna be good. Seems like it pushes back as well. Nice. They can take some damage though. Wow. Look at these environments. It looks so good. Knock them. Yes. Oh, he died over the edge. Nice. He totally did that to show us. I wish they would show the inventory though. That would have been cool. But we'll have to wait. Oh, I think this is the end, guys. Soldier. Congratulations, Captain. Alright. That's nice. I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this, do subscribe and share it with a friend or two. It really helps out the channel and to that effect me. If you want to stay in touch with me and get notified about new videos, go follow me on Twitter. You can also visit my Twitch channel where I stream every week. If you're feeling generous, consider subscribing on Twitch or supporting me on Patreon. I'll see you soon. Have a wonderful game night.